All right, so it could just be that I've had something to drink and that I'm not exactly as level-headed as I usually am. What's up with this? Again, open up a schematic for an 820-4924. I know that the average, guy in his 20s on a weeknight who's drunk in New York is probably not looking at schematics. But that's what I do after a fun evening. So that's what I do to decompress. But why is U4000 there? So on the 820-4924, which are the newer model Retinas, you have this chip that sits between the webcam and whatever the hell the webcam sends the signal to, that is 4 gigabytes in memory. Why is there a 4 gigabyte chip in between the camera and the computer? Because it's one of these things where it's like 4 gigabytes? Because here's the thing. When I started doing these videos and I wanted to see exactly what the camera output was, compressed, uncompressed, this, that, and the other, I have this microscope camera that puts out 422 uncompressed HDMI 1080p 60 frames a second. 422 high quality 1080p uncompressed 60 frames a second. And that comes out to something along the lines of like 250 megabytes a second. So even if we're going to assume, that seems like a lot for a buffer, even if we're going to assume that that little piece of fucking shit webcam on the MacBook is 1080p, 422, uncompressed HDMI at 60 frames a second, which it fucking is not. Even if we assume that, we're still at something along the lines of 16 seconds of buffering at raw video 422 rates. And that's just, I don't know. Something just kind of strikes me as funny about that. Like, why is there a 4 gigabyte memory chip on the board between the processor and the webcam? Why? And again, even if it's only being used as a buffer, which again, I can't really tell from the schematic right now. Again, if anybody has a schematic for the 820-4924, maybe you can tell me. I'm always open to learning something, but why do you need 4 gigabytes? Why do you need 4 gigs? Because this is the shittiest webcam. Like, it's just a shitty little computer webcam. Again, even my microscope camera, you could buffer a full 16 seconds. Do you really need that much of a buffer? With the crappy compressed output that comes out of that's minutes, maybe half an hour of, I don't know. Who knows? But I would like to know. It's just something that I would like to have an answer to that as a question. Because again, if I look at any of the previous models, again, just open and see. If I look at a previous model, I don't see a NAND or a RAM chip or any of that kind of stuff. Yeah, let's see, U4000. Okay, it actually is on the 3476 Retina as well. Yes, you have a 4 gigabyte chip on that one. Okay, well, let's see if it's on the older one. Let's see if it's on the 3462 board, 820-3462. Okay, so it has RAM banks, but does the camera have RAM? Does the camera have a 4 gigabyte chip on it? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, so what's up with that? Like, why do the new Retinas have a 4 gigabyte memory chip in between the camera and the computer? 4 gigs. That's a lot. Why? Again, just find the schematic and look for U4000. I'd love to know. And with that, I'm going to drink a lot of water. I'm going to drink a lot of water, and I'm going to fall asleep.